Hey everyone! So in this video we're going to be covering mounts, which is one of the major power gain sources that have a daily limited summon similar to artifacts and Melamon moves and cat buns when we eventually unlock those too. So mounts is a very important system to understand how it works and can be a little intimidating when you first unlock it, as there's a lot of different UI elements that you need to understand and put together to fully understand the system. So I've actually left most of my mount progression to do so I can actually do it together with you on the video so you can have a clearer understanding how this works. So let's jump right into the mounts menu here, which you can find in the info tab of the game, and in the top right is the Riders League. This is the mount section, and if I remember correctly, it unlocked at 19-2, which is shortly after you progress to class change. So this does unlock shortly after class change, and it is a very big source of combat power. Now, some people say, oh, compared to some of the other systems, the actual tangible damage output might not be as much, but I find it's still a very important system not to sleep on. So let's open this up and take a look. So when you open up the mount menu, you're greeted with this window, and there are quite a lot of things to understand here. So let's start with the basics. The basics is you have mounts that you can deploy, and you have a main mount, and eventually you'll have 3 additional support mounts, but as you can see, the additional support slots are locked behind higher class change levels here. So this is the 15th level of class change 1, and this is the 25th level of class change 1. So basically, and I'll show you in game, this is a mount. We're both of us here, Natasha and I, are riding mounts. We're using the wolf skin, which I'll show you by the way. You have this indigo Montalati, which is a mount paint skin you can buy, and it applies to your main mount, or any mount you want, but your main mount, and you will basically ride this instead of riding the actual mount. So as you can see here, we're riding the wolf, but the second we enter into combat, you'll see in a second, it quickly disappears and changes back into the actual mount we have equipped. So just wanted to point that out. So right now, this is the main mount I am using. It is called Rock. This mount has, and all mounts, have what's called an opening skill, which is the main reason they are so good. Yes, they give also these passive stats, but the opening skill is a very powerful thing to look for. And if you go into here at all the available mounts, each one of them has a different opening skill. So I will start with this one, for example. This is like the default one you unlock when you unlock the mount system, called Cannon. And if you look at his ability, leap high into the enemy area and crash into enemies, dealing 3 hits equal to 12,400% damage. That's a lot of damage. And yes, these mounts can deal a heck of a lot of damage, and as you unlock more stars, this 12,400% can go up to like 60,000%, 120,000%, and so on and so forth. However, there are different abilities here. So this is another one, for example. Already at its base unstarred level, the Ralph is doing 21,000% attack, and his scales up to craziness. But this one is interesting because he strikes enemies and all enemies share the damage. So the bird here, he jumps and deals this amount of damage to all enemies, and Ralph jumps and divides his damage to all enemies. So he will in theory do less damage in AoE, but against a boss it'll be the same damage if they're at the same percentage. Then you have Toby, and his opening ability is Alpaca's Blessing, and this one is the Blessing of Alpaca that increases the character's attack by 12% for 18 seconds. Not too bad. And then you have the one that I'm using and Natasha's using as well, which is in my opinion the best one, and this one is fires a ray to weaken all enemies, increasing the damage they take from you by 10% and reduces the damage they deal by 2% for 24 seconds. Now, we've already established in previous videos that any skills that increase the damage you deal or increase the damage enemies take from you are the best skills. So he is, for me, the best. Plus, one thing to note about opening skill, as I'll just point out now, the reason it's called opening skill is because the mount will cast the skill once battle starts. It's not like something that continuously, like every 60 seconds, the mount uses the opening skill. It casts it when you start the battle. Now, each one of the mounts has a different 5 gold star effect. And I'll show you these now because they do actually have some differences. So for Toby and for Rock, you'll see that their 5 gold stars in boss battles. When the opening skill effect ends, deal 10% of your accumulated damage during the skill duration as true damage. So as you can see here, as you extend the duration, this could be up to almost a minute. So if you can imagine how much damage your character can deal out in a minute, and then at the end of the duration, it's going to deal 10% of that as true damage. That's sick. I mean, that is a really sick skill. Then if you look at, for example, what's his name again? Ralph's ability, it says, at 5 gold stars, in boss battles, 60 seconds after the start of battle, trigger 50% of the opening skill's damage again. So while this is also good, it's to me a bit less good than this damage boost, and then not only the damage boost, you also then deal 10% of the damage you dealt in that duration to the boss at the end of it. So that's pretty sick. So going back to the main mount here, so the main mount here, you benefit from these passive stats here, which increase as you level up, upgrade the mount here. Again, also as you star the mount up, and as you star the mount up, you can see you not only get increased the mount opening skill, you also get an increase to the innate stats on the mount. So very important to both upgrade and star up your mounts. Now, before I get too much further, let me quickly show you how you acquire mount fragments. If you go into your camp and you go to Furf, you'll see Melody Summoning, Melomon, Create Moves for Melomon moves, and in the bottom right, you have the Mount Park. Mount Park is where you do all your summons for the mount system, and like the other two systems, it is daily limited the amount of purchase you can make. 9 of 9 daily purchases here, whereas for example artifacts and moves are 15 daily purchases. So that's important to note. However, for free-to-play players, every day at reset you can claim 25 free mount tickets right here. And of course there are, mount tickets which are called exploration tickets being given out in various events and so forth. So you will get a chance, even as a free-to-play player, to get plenty of these mount tickets. Now, when you do a summon, and I've saved 50 tickets just for the sake of this video, let's do these together and you'll see what happens. So you get a number of possible rewards here. Mount saddles, which are used to upgrade mounts, gold obviously. Then lucky horseshoes, which are similar to the cheese from Melomon, which you need to surpass certain mount thresholds. And then you get dupes of the various mounts, of which there are currently only 4 in the game. So as we go through, you can see I got dupes of Rock and Ralph here, some saddles, and also this is another item, the mount selection points. This allows you to specify which mount fragment you want to claim. So I'm going to run through all these, and you can see here it's usually a pretty even mix of stuff that you get. The rates are okay, they're not like the best thing in the world, they're not the worst thing in the world, but you basically get fragments here, and you can't pull like a full mount here. You pull fragments, and then this shows you all the possible rewards you can get, by the way, up to 5 of each mount. And then let's go back to the mount system. Info, mounts. So when you go into mount space, you can't just pull the full mount from the summon, but you can get fragments. So you can see here, I've left these 2 locked for now. So I have enough fragments to summon both of these. And what you do is you click here and you click register. And now I own this mount. Same for Ralph, I have 54 out of 50. I can register him. Great, so now I have all 4 mounts. Now, the main mount, you benefit from these stats, plus you benefit from the opening skill, plus there's this system here called stickers, which I will explain shortly. The support mounts, you only benefit from their stats. The stickers on the support mounts do not apply. You only benefit from stickers on your main mount. The game froze 1 second. So only these 4 stickers, once you unlock them by getting more stars, apply. If you put stickers on your support mounts, they won't apply to your stats. The only thing that applies on your support mounts are these stats right here. That's the only thing that matters. So let me continue on here. So anyway, let me quickly do this. I'll show you stickers because I left the star up here. I have enough dupes. I'm going to star them up to 3-star blue stars, which is going to unlock, I believe, the first sticker slot. So here you go. So once you unlock stickers, you have two choices. You can use dupes, and generally speaking, if you don't have these items, which we acquired in a pack, you would have to use dupes in order to re-roll this. So I'm going to just click this a few times and you'll see here. You have a chance, and it is RNG, to roll different rarities of the following stickers. And here's the rates. Rare 69%, epic 23%, and a 7.7% chance to be legendary. And these are all the various stats you can get. I'm not going to sit here and say which one is best in slot because really it's down to whatever stats you're missing from your build. But ultimately you would keep rolling this as much as you can to get a legendary sticker of the one you would want to use for your build. So I'm just going to keep this for now. I'm going to re-roll this myself later off stream, but that's how stickers work. And again, just to say, only the stickers on your main deployed mount will apply. The ones on your support mount will not apply. And that's that. So the next thing to talk about is, let me just double check here to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is the license tier. Now this is very important. So in order to level your license up, which not only increases stats, it also increases your max mount level. So there is a max mount level. Right now I'm in tier 2, so I can only level up upgrade my mounts to level 100. If I get to tier 3 license, then I can upgrade my mounts to level 120. In order to increase your license, you have to increase your total mount level. Right now my total mount level is 120 because I have a level 60 rock and a level 60 cannon. So if I go here now and I rank up my rock, upgrade my rock, I'm just going to hold this button down. You can see it's consuming saddles, gold, and every now and then at a level threshold, it also consumes horseshoes. So I'm just going to hold this down and rank him, upgrade him to level 100. So I've upgraded him to level 100, and now you can see total mount level is 160 out of 240. I'm going to go to cannon, and I'm going to do the same. Upgrade him to level 100, and you can see here these base stats, stats are increasing. My power is going up quite a lot. So now I have 100 and 100, and now it's 200 out of 240. So then if I go here, oh, right, that's right, I forgot about that. So now I can explain this. This total mount level is only from your deployed mounts. So I was just thinking, can't I just level this guy up and increase my mount level? No. You have to increase the levels of your deployed mounts, which means until you can deploy another mount, you probably won't be able to get the total mount level up to tier 3. So that's how that works. Now, when you don't, I think there's a thing, right? Wait, how does this work? I seem to recall there's a system here where you can register the mounts you don't have equipped, but anyway, I think that might unlock a bit. I think that unlocks at tier 3. I need to double check things. I don't see that UI right now. I remember unlocking it in closed beta. One more thing I'll show you quickly before I continue in the explanation is this paint button here. This is what I said, you can actually change the look of your main mount so that you can have this the skill of the one you want to have and the stats of the one you want to have, but you can paint it to look like whatever you want. And I'm using the Ash Gray Wolf right now. So mount fragments that you collect from the summon, like I said, can be used for two things. Number one, they can be used for starring up the deployed mount, or starring up the mount, or they can be used for re-rolling stickers. So those are the two uses of mount fragments. So let me just give a few more tips for new players, just before I lose track of everything I'm saying here. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. I apologize. So some tips for new players, and if you're just unlocking the mount system, focus on leveling up your main mount first, because doing so increases your opening skill, which is very, very powerful. And then after that, you can spread your training across multiple mounts to boost the total level and advance your license. So right now I've got 100, and I need to unlock another slot to get this up to past 240 to license T3. Getting the mount fragments are very important to start up, obviously, before rolling all of your fragments on getting better stickers. Prioritize using your fragments instead on getting higher stars for your mounts. So I think that's basically the entire mount system in a nutshell. I feel like that's everything, and it's overall, as you can see, a system that provides quite a lot of stats. Like, I've got here a crit and determination mount, so if I go here to my stats, I've literally got like, yeah, 42% crit and 40% determination, which is actually too much. And I'm actually going to have to change my build slightly because I want to reduce this probably to around 35% instead of 40 and 42, and then I'd invest instead maybe in haste, mastery, some more crit damage, etc. So that's the mount system, and I hope that was a useful video. If you found it useful, or if you feel there's something I missed, then leave it in the comments below, and if you have any questions, of course, I'll answer them. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell if you want to know when the next videos are going to be uploaded, and if you haven't already, join the Discord server. It's a lot of fun. There's giveaways, there's fun events all the time. There's a really active player base of lots of different levels of players in there, so come check it out. And anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.